So there we have it, and since the dust has settled for a couple of days now, but my PC is kicking up some dust through its fan, let's quickly talk some of the other stuff from the London E-Prix. I did my instant reaction on Sunday, and since things have turned down a little bit, and we've seen penalties going the way of Pascal Wehrlein and Antonio Felix da Costa, which are going to be converted into grid drops for the first time out next season, let's have a little bit of a talk about the doubleheader in London. I am gutted the E-Prix in London is going off the calendar, so I was so glad I got to see it in person. Brands Hatch will be an interesting venue. I think it'll be one that will work well for the Gen 4s, a bit like how they're looking at Zandvoort, for example, as another purpose-built circuit. I think that is the kind of circuit that should work well, seeing Harama, for example, or Tormo, just one that I love to talk about all the time. It was a good experience, and it's a shame that it has to end. But it went out in style with controversy. I don't think it was necessarily as controversial as the Season 1 finale in Battersea. Because, yes, Wehrlein did what he needed to do. I don't think that he intended to ram into Joel Eriksson. I think that was a mistake. I think he intended to show Jake Dennis the wall. I don't think he necessarily cared if Jake Dennis was put into the wall or not, but I don't think he intended to drive into the back of Joel Eriksson and cause a pile-up that could have taken him out in the process. I think there was a back-out or we crash mentality, which is needed if you're a champion. However, if you're a champion going into this finale as a firm favourite, you just need to do better. And it makes it a bit sour. It does. I'm glad there weren't so many people booing him. But I was surprised that he was so annoyed at Da Costa for doing to him what Muller was doing to Evans only a couple of days ago. Just the day before. And actually on the day of as well. Porsche were doing the same tactics. Heck, you could argue, I was watching SP12's video on it, and you could argue Dan Tickton was doing the same thing. The only thing they couldn't do was they couldn't do it with Jake Dennis, because Jake Dennis, although he's on a Porsche powertrain, was also a title rival. So they had to find a way around it, and that was their way around it that they found. But yeah, I do feel for Jake Dennis. I feel for Mitch Evans a bit, but he just had bad luck with quali and with that first race, the safety car. And that's the thing, is that first race's safety car threw such a span in the works. It changed so many different things. I would be interested to see what would happen if we'd run the simulations and seen what had happened without that safety car. But as I mentioned on Sunday, one of the things that stood out that we didn't really get a chance to look at in the actual race because we were too focused on the title battle was the battle for the win. 2 and 3 for Mahindra, who locked out the front row. Adrian Mortaro, with that steering damage from group stage, still managed to carry through. And yeah, they fixed up the car for the race, but he managed to get through to the final in qualifying. And Taylor Barnard, man, he had 2 of his best 3 results in the season in London, a 5th and the win. He didn't get a podium all season for DS Penske, but then he gets a win in the final round. Much, much deserved. When you look at the team's championship, Jaguar locked it out, and I think Jaguar played it the best that they could. I think well done to them. It would have been interesting to see Porsche do the triple, but I don't think they had it in them, especially with the way that they were approaching the race. They had circumstances fall in their favour, but this was also sort of Jags to lose. Mahindra securing 3rd in that final round, well done to them. Andretti ending up dropping to 4th, bad luck to them. Citroen outdid Venturi. Yeah, I think year on year, Citroen outdid what Venturi had done, and Mahindra more than doubled their points all from last season. There were some people who had some poor luck. I mean, it was good for Nissan that they managed to get double points in the second race, but poor Oliver Rowland ends up bowing out as the outgoing champion, tied with Adrian Mortara on points, and joined 4th, winning on countback because he won a race and Mortara didn't. I know Nato's out at Nissan. Joel Eriksson's out at Envision, isn't he? Buemi had a nice little send-off for his final race with a 5th. Got a 4th in the first race. Poor Lucas Degrassi, man. But, yeah. Formula E. The most anything can happen racing series out there. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below, folks. As always, thanks so much for watching and joining. Thanks for your support. Until next time, bye for now.